I've been practicing guitar for 1 complete month now. So how much progress have I made in 1 complete month? Not as much as I'd like, but I will put up a chart here that shows you how much practice time I've had. It's about 18 hours I've had so far this month on the guitar. I've done about 23 hours on the banjo. I've been alternating each day. Practicing my banjo one day for an hour, and then the other day I'll practice my guitar for an hour. I haven't been able to put every day an hour in, but every day that I've practiced my guitar, I've at least got an hour in on it. And sometimes for me, it's the smaller triumphs that mean the most to me. One of the small things I've done that feels like a major triumph to me, but maybe not to a lot of people, is I've made myself memorize the strings up and down. Just because I want to know if I'm going to the G chord, which chord is the G. E, A, D, G, B, E, right? E, B, G, D, A, E. Memorize them up and down, right and left. I can go to the G chord because I know that's the 3rd chord up here, which, like I said, may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but to me it is. That's a pet peeve of mine, especially on the banjo. If somebody can't learn something as simple as the string pattern up and down, put time into doing that so they'll know which string is which. It's just a pet peeve of mine. So anybody that's been following this page so far knows that I've been working on Old Joe Clark. No, I haven't worked on it as much as I've wanted to, just for the sheer fact that there's other utility things I'll show you in a minute that I've been working on. I'm just going to play a little bit of it because you all know the melody if you've been watching the page. Right, it still needs to be cleaned up, and I still need to do the alternating thumb version of it, and I've got it too, but we'll move on. One of the other things I've been working on is a 2-octave scale on the guitar. It's my first scale that I've learned. It goes something like I got a comment the other day on a video that I put. It was a short out. The gentleman said, "Now it's time for the chromatic scale," which I thought was somewhat funny because all that is just the scaling line, really. So if we're going the G chord, you can go. I mean, that's a chromatic scale. And then, of course, every time I pick up the guitar, I've got to do the finger dexterity, the down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but on the scale that I done, the 2-octave scale, the whole pattern was picked alternating pick, which is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And everything I'm doing so far on the guitar has been that. No matter what I try, what I'm doing, it's alternating picking. And then last but not least, working on chords. Of course, you know all the ones that I know so far. G, C, the G. Ooh, that sounded like shit. G, D, A. Over the next month, what I'm planning on doing is learning, I'm going to start into learning Cripple Creek on the flat picking, and also I'm going to try to start into bar chords on the guitar, try to learn the bar chords along with what I'm doing so far, you know, strengthening my bass with what I'm doing so far, learning probably another scale or two. There's a scale I know, I don't know if it's called a cage scale or what, I don't know the terminology, but there's a scale that you can play, a G scale, that if you learn the pattern to that G scale, you can play that scale in any key. So that's probably the next scale I'm going to try to learn and get that down. That way I can play a scale in any key up and down the neck. One last thing before I go, and I've got a question for all the guitar players out there, and I've heard this comment a couple of times, and I'm just curious of ways to do it when I'm strumming. I've had the comment several times of people saying loosen your wrist up, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking that I need to do more wrist instead of arm movement when I'm strumming, you know what I'm saying? Like this number here, because that's the way I kind of see everybody do. They more twist their wrist. But what exactly, does anybody have anything out there outside of just practicing loosening your wrist? What's the best way to loosen your wrist as you're strumming? Because that's another thing that I'm working on, and one of the things I ain't really sure of what to do. So if you've got comments on that, leave them in the comment section, guys. That would help out tremendously. That being said, thank you all so much for watching the video, and hopefully I'll be back here in a couple of weeks with another progress report.